What's going on, guys? It's kind of dark in here, so you probably can't see me, but it is day 21, and yeah, um, not too bad, not too bad. Um, Little difficult nonetheless, but was craving a little bit of nachos earlier. Other than that, smooth day. I made a salad. Found these tomatoes at Whole Foods that are like literally the best tomatoes I've ever had. Like you wouldn't even believe it. Um, like the best tomatoes I've ever had. uh, Had some oranges. What else? Blueberry banana smoothie and a turmeric tea. I think that's all I had today actually. But yeah, not too bad. More of one of the easy days that I've had definitely. Um, so we got 9 days left, and that's pretty exciting. I can't believe I've actually made it this far. It's pretty awesome. Um, so yeah, that's it. Not really a difficult day, so not too much to talk about. Oh, actually, one more thing. One more thing I'm learning on this path is like that meditation is so key for it. Like it's literally the foundation of it, and it's just literally the foundation of it. Like you have to quiet your mind so much to the point where not only food is off your mind, but pretty much any desire or anything that's blocking you from peace, like anything, you have to just quiet it. It may not make sense in that moment. Like you may be trying to pursue something that you want to do, and maybe you don't have the energy for it, so you're overthinking about should I do this, should I not do this, but you have to quiet your mind and prioritize inner peace before anything, because when you're doing fruitarianism or just raw veganism, you know, it's it's a lot to handle, so you have to really quiet your mind, and you know, that's pretty much the only way this can be done, because if you're not peaceful inside, you're going to be craving food. You're going to be craving some sort of outside nourishment, but you have to realize that it's all within you. And that can be a challenge sometimes because a lot of us like to search externally for stuff that we already have inside. There's nothing wrong with going out in the world and doing things, obviously, but it comes a time in at least the raw that I'm realizing like that you have to seriously reach a point where you're not letting yourself get attached to any negative energy, because negative energy is so toxic, like, and really that's the foundation of disease. And I know a lot of people won't understand that because they're all into the science and everything, but this is science. This is a fact. Like negative energy, I mean, this whole universe is made up of energy. And when you get down to it, disease and all these things are really just negative energy anyways. And so, you start to get into this and you're like, okay, I can't allow this negative energy to infect me anymore because I want to be happy. I don't want to feel sick and stressed all the time. And what happens is like sometimes we'll have a large buildup of negative energy, and that will actually cause like a headache or a stomach ache or just a disease. And so we have to learn to meditate really and truly, like to quiet our minds and focus on just being here and being happy and not searching externally constantly for shit to nourish us. Uh, and that's kind of hard in this generation because there's so much stimulation out here. We have so much abundance of food, technology. There's so much amazing things on this planet, but again, we have to remember that we are the true source of our own happiness. So, we can play around in the world, but we have to be careful not to lose ourselves as well. So that's key, because and that's what fasting teaches you, because you learn to live with less. And when you do that, it can be a shock because you're like not used to it. But when you get used to it, you start to feel more complete and start to realize, oh yeah, this is where happiness comes from. It's truly within you. And I know everybody knows that, but sometimes we forget it. We get tangled up in whatever it is. But the key with this is positive energy, positive energy, positive energy. It's so key. It's not even funny. It really shows how real the law of attraction is, because like, seriously, whatever you put out is coming right back. And I learned that with veganism. Like, I would throw stuff at people like, oh, you have to give up dairy, you have to give up that, but it's definitely not the right thing for everybody. I agree, it's the healthiest, one of the healthiest diets, great for the planet, but some people are just simply not ready to drop those yet, and we have to be tolerant of that, because it's just the way it is. So when it comes down to it, it's the law of attraction. So whatever energy you're putting out, you will get it back. So make sure, if you want to feel good, you put out good energy. You feel me? That's just the law of this universe. You know what I mean? Uh, it's it's pretty amazing, this path. And honestly, if you have the strength to do it, I would so recommend it to anybody who's watching this, because this will change your life like nothing else. It is just unreal. And I'm only 20 years old, and I'm doing this. I didn't think I could, but I was getting signs all over the place, and I just had an intuitive feeling to eat more raw foods. So, and I'm not talking about fruitarianism here, because, 100% fruit is really hard to do, and that's something I haven't been able to do. There's some days, most days I can, but like there's other days where I'm adding in vegetables, and, you know, uh, I think there's only been 2 days out of these 21 days where I've had almonds. One day I had like an almond date thing, and the other day, yeah, it was an almond and date thing, 2 days in a row. It was when I was in Chicago. But other than that, and this has all been raw, a little bit of vegetables here and there, and mostly 80-90% fruit. But that doesn't really matter how much you do. It's really about the consciousness that you have. Fruitarian, raw, vegan is just a word, but if you seriously, you know, actually do it, and eat raw, like it's so powerful. You start to realize that you are your own health. If that's, I know that sounds weird, but like, you really control your own health through your own consciousness and thoughts and everything, because there's points in this where I've wanted to give up so much, um, wanted to go back to just eating cooked food, but eventually I probably will. Again, this is just temporary, but it really, really teaches you to be your own happiness, be your own source of nourishment, and it's so powerful. It's unbelievable. Like, this is the hardest thing I've ever done in my life, or at least one of them, and food is such a, it's something that we love, and that's perfectly all right. But at the same time, when we overeat anything in excess is not generally good. We want to have a balance. But when we're, overeating junk food and all these things, it can really throw us off. And even cooked food, because cooked food is very tasty as well. But, the fruits and vegetables really get you into these deeper states of consciousness. And it's so powerful, and some people are definitely not ready for it. But it's something that it's really teaching me to live without fear in a lot of different situations. Um, it's just strengthening me like I never thought it would, because the harder the road, you know the prettier the destination. You know what I mean? And that's really what this is. And so this is a heck of a path. And honestly, it may seem like an impossible thing to do if you ever are considering it, like, oh, giving up cooked food isn't going to do anything, but it will. Cooked food isn't bad, but what happens is when you take a break from it, let's say that, you go into such deep states of consciousness that you're not used to it. It's different, so you think that, some people may think it's unhealthy, but really it's actually just going deeper into who you are, and that can be frightening. I can admit that it can be frightening, but if you can make it through those dark parts, it's beautiful on the other side. It's unbelievable. Like, if you've ever went on a roller coaster and you're going uphill, you know how scared you are to go downhill. You're like, oh my gosh, this is crazy scary. And then when you finally go downhill, you're like, oh, I want to do that again and again. It's kind of like that with this. You go through those really difficult times when you're dealing with these cravings, which are lethal. Like, it's crazy sometimes how strong they are. But if you make it through it, it's just like the best feeling. You wouldn't even know it. Um, and that's what happens. So, and it comes back though, because again, in the roller coaster, there's usually more than one drop. So, you're going to have more than one of these cravings. I guarantee it. It's going to come and come and come because depending on how much of the sugar and all these things that you used to eat, they're going to come up again. And, if you're committed to it, you can't go back to it. So it's tricky. You have to really work your way through it. You got to learn how to use energy and use it the right way. Love and positivity is so important, not just with food and fasting, but with everything you do, because that's how you heal. You use that energy to heal yourself. You release the resistance. You don't worry about what you don't have. You have to realize that you're exactly where you need to be. And that's perfectly okay because the universe has divine timing. So it is what it is. But meditation and fasting, two of the most powerful things I've ever done. So that's day 21 for you guys. I was trying to end this at 1 minute. Then I went off. But yeah, this is a heck of a path. So yeah, I'll hit you guys with an update tomorrow. It just gets more intense each day. It's sometimes really, really hard, and then sometimes really, really interesting, I guess you could say. I have a feeling I'm going to go past 30 days on this. I don't really know what's going to happen here, but I'm learning to not be attached to things. There's things I want, but I'm learning to let the universe just kind of deliver because I know what's ever right for me is going to find me. So I don't have to constantly go out searching and searching for what I need and what I want because I know I'm complete in this place. So I'm just going to let whatever find me, find me. So yeah, that's it, guys. Have a good night and peace out.